Hey everybody, Steve Cooper here for Shadow Creek Music. I recently got a question about how I teach music online, what my setup is like and the software that I use, etc. So I wanted to give a little bit of a studio tour here, but I'd like to start by saying you actually don't need that much gear at all to do the job. And so what I'm going to do is explain my two setups, my minimal setup and then my high quality setup here in this particular studio. So for the minimal setup, all you really need is some kind of device for making phone calls. I use Google Meet for my video lessons, and I use this laptop the majority of the time. If I'm in a pinch, I can also use my phone, which happens to be an iPhone. But really, any modern phone or laptop should get the job done. It should have a high enough quality camera and a microphone that you can effectively conduct lessons, take lessons over the internet. The only thing you can't do is jam together, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's not the end of the world. I find that this works perfectly well, and it has for several years now. For the more advanced setup, we'll start with the microphones. I have one microphone on my snare. I have one microphone on each tom. I have a microphone mounted inside the bass drum, and then I have a stereo pair of overheads right here. For cameras, I have this overhead camera. I have the camera facing the drums from the front, and then I also use the camera on this Mac, which we saw earlier, to get kind of a rear and side view of the drum set. And I use the MacBook again to make the video calls. Only this time, the Mac is plugged into this simple audio interface. This is probably the most popular audio interface around these days. It's a Focusrite 2i2. And it's very simple, straightforward, plug and play setup. You can go right into your audio settings in Google Meet and select this device as the audio in and out. And I should have mentioned before that it's important to turn off your noise canceling on your software, whether it's Google Meet or Skype or what have you, to make sure that the computer doesn't think that your drumming is noise, so that you get a clean audio signal. Now, the microphones on the drums are actually all being patched into this device here. This is a Tascam USB audio MIDI interface. These overhead microphones are pencil condenser microphones, which require a 48-volt power source called phantom power, which I have on this USB audio interface, but it only has it in groups of 4, so I can do channels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8 together. So that wasn't practical to use, so what I ended up needing to do was connect a couple of preamps before the audio gets sent to the USB interface. So the microphone audio goes into these preamps, which supply the phantom power, and then the outputs get sent to the USB interface, which they're being sent to 2 other inputs that are in the back there. And that device is connected to this computer, which is a Windows machine. And on this machine, I am running Ableton Live, and I'll bring you through a little bit on how the channel structure works here in this session. So first of all, oh, and the vocal mic, that's right, I have a vocal mic. I'm working on a better solution for this, but for now I have this old vocal mic with the switch on it for speaking with the students, which corresponds to this channel here. I have the vocal mic in, and then I have my drums grouped here. So if I open up this group, we have kick, snare, 4 toms, and the overheads in stereo. Collapse that down. I've done some mixing to make this sound good. That's a topic for another video. I'm just going to show you the channel structure here. So these are my inputs. And now I also have this input from the Mac. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the output. Right now I just have it in mono, but I need to get another patch cable so I can do it in stereo. But this output goes from the Focusrite into this USB audio interface, so I can get the audio from the Mac to the PC. And then I also have two Mac over here. So there's an extra stereo audio output back here that comes up through these blue and red cables to the Focusrite. And so that's how I get the overall mix from the PC to the Mac. And inside of Ableton, I also have a click track, so a metronome, and I'm using a drum rack in Ableton to accomplish this, which is essentially like a drum machine. And I'm using a wood block sample, or a few different samples. I have low, mid, and high wood blocks, so I can do metronome paradigms with subdivisions. So here I just have 3 loaded up. I've got 4/4 for all of them. This one has 16th notes, so we go pop, 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 pop for the 16ths. We've got 12ths, so pop, 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 pop. And then we have just the quarter notes. And I also have a channel here for tracks. I have some tracks loaded up here that I can play along to. Now, these 4 channels here, I'm using to prepare everything and get everything mixed to send to the Mac. So the way this works is everything here from this channel over to this channel is all set to go to the master channel. That's what I hear. So I have a headphone out from the USB device here. This is my headphone out. It snakes around back here, and then it, oh, I don't have my headphones set up right now, but here I have these Drumeo in-ear monitors that I use for my own mix. And usually I don't include the drums because it's not necessary, and there's a little bit of a delay, like 8 milliseconds or so. That's kind of annoying, so I just keep the drums muted in my own in-ear monitors. But of course I have the click coming through and the backing tracks coming through to my ears. And then I also have the audio from the Mac going to my ears. Now the 2 Mac channel over here, so everything that ends up in this channel goes to the Mac, and that's what the student is going to hear. So I have the audio input set to none, and then the external outs 5 and 6 are the stereo outputs that lead to here. These 4 channels right here are what I use to collect audio from these channels and then send them to this channel. So for instance, the vocal output, I just took audio from vocal over here, post FX, so if I mute my vocal mic for myself here, it's still going to come through to the Mac. And then audio 2, I selected this channel over here, to Mac. And so with the drums here, same concept. I took the audio from the drums group, post FX, as opposed to the post mixer. Right, so again, I have my drums muted for myself, but they're still going to come through to the Mac. And then also here, if I want to, I can adjust the volumes like I have here on this channel for what goes to the Mac without affecting what I'm hearing in my headphones. This channel here is my click. So I just took the audio right from this click channel. And for this important note here, there is some delay. The time that it takes for me to hit the drum, the audio to go through the mic and the cable into this USB interface, which really itself is a computer that's processing the audio. So there's delay here, and that's getting sent to this computer, and there's some effects and things being mixed here, so that's adding some delay as well. So there's delay from when I play the drums to when the drums get sent, the audio of the drums gets sent to the Mac. So But the click really doesn't have any of that problem. It's just this MIDI instrument making the woodblock sounds and going straight out. So there's negligible delay there. So I need to compensate for that. Otherwise, the drums and the click are gonna be out of sync. So I have added this delay effect here, and I did some experimentation and found that about 25 milliseconds was what I needed to get the click to sync with the drums when I'm playing along with the metronome. And the same is true of the tracks out. So I took the audio from tracks and I put another 25 millisecond delay on this channel here, and then sending it to Mac. So all summed up, all of that audio gets sent to the Mac, and there's no feedback because of the way I have all this routing set up. And then also here, I can mix the volumes, as I said before, independently of all of these elements separately from what I'm hearing versus what the student is hearing over here. So, for instance, I did some testing and also got some feedbacks from some friends about what it sounded like. And they said the click channel's a little loud. For me, the click channel was fine. So you can see here I have click, I have the volume fader at 0 dB, but I heard some feedback that it was too loud in the student mix, so I turned it down 6 dB on the student click out here. And that should do it. This works great. It sounds professional. It's pretty easy to use. The two computer paradigm really is where it's at. I've tried doing virtual audio cards, I think is what they're called. Things like Soundflower. I think there's one called Reaper. I haven't really looked into it in a while because I tried it and really it's kind of a pain. There's compatibility issues, issues that honestly I just couldn't, I worked on it and I just couldn't figure out why I had this virtual audio routing thing that was in theory supposed to be sending audio from the phone call into Ableton and audio from Ableton to the phone call on one computer, and I just couldn't get it to work. So the two computer thing is where it's at. I think that's just about it. I hope this helps. If you're interested in taking lessons with me, I do free trial lessons. Feel free to see my Google form linked in the description, and we'll see you in the next one.